Hope you enjoyed your break. Uh, we are beginning the final section for this semester. I hope you guys are all safe, given that the pandemic seems to have completed its first wave. Um, However, I think we still need to be careful, and the second wave is on its way. So keep doing what you're doing and stay safe. Now, I want to introduce to you the last section for the course this semester, Introduction to Communication Theory. Now, this is a whole course that is offered by the Department of Communication at Heidelberg College, but we're not going to do the whole course. We're doing a brief introduction, and I have prepared chapters 1 and 2 of Turner, sorry, and West, or West and Turner, and put it up on Google Classroom so you can download it and read it and study it for the exam. We're not, this semester, we're not focusing on areas or sections that are not important. We're focusing on just the sections that you will be tested on. So these two chapters you should read through. They're very self-explanatory, very easy to understand. You should have no problems with it. So I'm just going to breeze through the chapter and tell you basically what you are needing to know for your exam, and to just go over some content with you. Okay. So as you can see, this is what the PDF looks like. Just go to the first chapter. You will notice in your textbook that there are some words on the side of your page that you may consider them definitions or so on. Right? I'll just point it out to you. So if this is your page, right? This is your normal page. And here they're talking about the key terms in defining communication. So you will see here that it says, you can see, can you guys see this? Okay, let me just turn that off. Okay, here, for example, communication, social, process, right? So these are very, very important. Just put this. Okay, they're very important because multiple choice questions or short definition questions can come from these little bold side on your PDF book, right? So as you go through the book, you'll notice that sometimes on the side they give you a definition, right? Like this symbol, it's an arbitrary label given to a phenomenon. Concrete symbol, abstract symbol, meaning all of these are important for you. So whenever you see these, please pay careful attention for chapters 1 and 2. Like I said, they will form the basis for multiple choice or definition style questions. Okay, so as we go through this, you will see there are many explanations given and things. So you don't need to worry about the certain sections that I will now tell you. So, for example, the section here, just go down. Any section that deals with basically stories or uh, uh, stories that are examples, so to speak, you do not need to study. But the actual texts and so on itself, you do need to study. So, for example, these are contexts in communication and so on and so on. So you'll notice, like Mandy, for example, theory into practice, you do not need to study these things. Okay, so the tip for Mandy, you don't need to study. Okay, so you will not be tested on things like this. So wherever you find examples and so on, you feel free to skip those sections. But everything else that has, like I said, the side definitions are important, and everything else you should read through to prepare for your final exam. Now, in your model section, where they go over the models, so models of understanding for communication as action, the diagrams are very important. So you may be asked to draw a diagram and explain it. Okay. So if this is the interactional model of communication, you may be asked to draw this diagram for interactional model and explain what it is in detail. So you will draw this and then have your explanation after it, right? As you can see here, this is the transactional model of communication. Okay, and this is the interactional model of communication. So that is important. Um, as we get onto the next chapter, please read through all of these. You must know the different areas and contexts and why you should study communication theory, etc. Right? As you move to chapter 2, and like the things I was telling you about earlier to ignore, like Jenny and Lee Yamato, this is just anecdotal. So in other words, you can read this, haha, it's interesting and so on, but I'm not going to test you on it, so you can skip these sections when you're preparing for the final exam, right? So these examples here, like the story about Jenny and Lee Yamato, you can read, okay, you can read it, is okay, but study it, you don't need to. Okay, okay, just making sure. So you have focused. So the 7 traditions in the field of communication are important for you to know and be able to write a short question essay style on. Um, this whole of section 2 is very theoretical. The 7 contexts in the communication field, very important. Also possible essay question. And as you go through chapter 2, you will notice that there are specific sections. Again, like I said, theory into practice. These sections you don't need to worry about. Okay. Just focus on the sections that are salient. Okay, and that's the end of chapter 1 and 2. So, like I said, it's very simple. Right, chapter 2 deals with the basic context in communication, the traditions in communication. So that is basically what you will read through. They are self-explanatory. It's not complex or complicated. Okay. In the exam, I'm not going to ask you any questions that require you to do any analysis for communication, just the theory. We're interested in the theoretical part. Again, these tips and things, just ignore those sections and focus on, like for example, the 7 traditions in the communication field. These are all self-explanatory. They will explain in detail what the rhetorical tradition is, and you can see it says practical art. And they usually give you a further explanation for each tradition. Okay, you'll need to know all of this. There will not be any further um material for you to prepare. Just this is the final section for communication. I will be giving you exam scope after this, so it will tell you exactly what to prepare. So I'm basically giving you the outline for communication. I asked you to read chapters 1 and 2. This is basically what you need to cover in chapter 1 and 2. So read through it. Ignore all the examples and stuff, but focus on the sections that have the theories, the little boxes on the side for definitions and for MCQs. As I stated, later I will give you your exam scope and tell you exactly what to prepare for each section, specifically in the linguistic section and in the theory section. Okay, that wraps it up for this semester for the new material. We'll be going over the sections that you'll be tested on later. This semester, I followed a different approach where I only covered sections that you will be tested on in the exam. Any additional sections that you will not be tested on in the exam was not covered. Okay, so um, yeah, it makes life easier for you. I'll be letting you know in due course during this month about where you stand in terms of DP and so on. Right now, the raw scores that you have don't really mean anything because they're all percentages, fractions, and so on. So I will let you know at a later date for DP, but at this stage, um, just read through the chapter. Okay, chapter 1 and 2 of communication theory. All right, you have a great day whenever you are viewing this video. Thank you.